Hey Pat, I know you're a longtime Exerd player and an even longer time CVS2 player, so I wanted to ask, how do you stay motivated playing and, more so, organizing and doing all the community stuff for so long? Do you take breaks? Do you change up your roles in them? How do you manage that with a changing player base?
Okay. Well, this is going to require a little bit of poking, but let's get into it. So to start with, I think breaks are great and pretty much never a bad idea. Everyone, just by virtue of living the life that you're living, probably has a lot of stuff going on. And the way I think about fighting games is basically that they're a really cool thing to spend your time on and spend as much time as you want on, as long as all the other stuff in your life is like being handled. And usually when people feel like they got to take breaks from fighting games, it's because there is something else that requires their attention and they just feel bad about taking a break. But the fact is that breaks are good for you. I think breaks give your brain a chance to digest a lot of the things that your body has learned but not necessarily fully understood yet, which is why often you find that when you come off of a break, yeah, some things will feel rusty, but the rust usually knocks off real quick. But you'll find that there are things that you weren't able to do before or that you were working on before that just come a little bit smoother. And it's because essentially your brain has kind of had a chance to chew on some shit while you were off doing other stuff. And it's fine, now you're back, you can get back to playing fighting games. So yeah, I think breaks are good, especially for people who are juggling fighting games with all kinds of other things they have going on in their lives, other interests, that kind of stuff. But the other thing is, like, when I take breaks from fighting games, and I don't really take that many or take them that long because my life is about fighting games. We've talked a little bit about that. We'll get into that later as well. But when I take breaks from fighting games, I'm still doing stuff that is kind of related to fighting games. So like in college, I wasn't really playing that many fighting games because I didn't have that many people to play with. I wasn't near any arcades. There was no net play, nothing like that. But I did actual martial arts, which is basically IRL fighting games. And what I learned from that experience, then I was able to take and apply to fighting games when I was ready to play fighting games again. Another time that I took a break was basically I didn't really like Street Fighter 4, and that was the game that everyone was playing, so I just kind of dipped and played StarCraft and StarCraft 2 for a while. And StarCraft 2 is basically like a fighting game. It's kind of, yeah, it's a real-time strategy game, but there's a lot about it that feels real fighting gamey. And so when I came back from Marvel 3, it wasn't really like I missed a beat or anything. StarCraft actually taught me a lot of stuff from other games that then helped me learn Marvel 3 faster, which is really cool. So if you're like me, I'm the kind of person that even when I'm not playing fighting games, I'm kind of still playing fighting games.
Were you fighting?
I am still fighting. I'm fighting now.
When I'm not playing fighting games right now, I might be like playing golf or learning how to play bass or something, and all that can eventually link back to my fighting game practice. So with me personally, I don't really take long breaks very often, and it's because I haven't felt like I needed to, and that kind of gets to the next part of the question. I do a lot of things in fighting games, so I get a lot of different ways to engage with them as an activity. I am a player, and I compete, but my goal isn't necessarily just to be the best or anything. I also run my own tournaments, I commentate them sometimes, I teach people how to play, I make videos like this, I develop fighting games. Like, there's so many different things that I do with fighting games, and doing each one unlocks more interesting things to do in the other modes as well, right? As a developer, I get to understand fighting game interactions and play from a different lens, and then that influences how I learn how to play them better or how I teach them to other people, and so on and so on and so on. So if you are in a position like me where you get to spend a lot of your life on fighting games, that can make it easier to not burn out because you're not just doing the same thing. You're doing a lot of different things, but they all connect and kind of enrich the activity to make it go even deeper, which I think is super cool. Again, if you have room in your life to do all that stuff. Also, I play a bunch of different fighting games, and I don't all play them with a very kind of linear focused tournament grind set. Instead, I have different games that I play in different ways, and I play them all for a kind of a long period of time, as you called out in the question. So Exerd is absolutely my main game. And every day I try and get in at least like an hour or an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of Exerd time. I'm labbing for a bit. Sometimes I'll watch matches. I'll get some net play games in. But in addition to that, I'll also spend usually about 20 or 30 minutes a day playing CPS2, and that's mostly just drilling some execution stuff that I've known I've needed to work on for a really long time. I'll pick up Marvel 2, maybe play that for 20, 30 minutes as well. But in that, I'm basically just doing Magneto combos most of the time. And I'll play Guilty Gear XX Accent Core plus R as well. But I will do that mostly just to hop on and net play some matches. I'm not grinding different matchups. I will often actually just not play certain matchups because I don't think they're fun. I play plus R mostly because there are certain aspects of playing that game that then help me play Exerchip a little bit better. And so I have a reason for how I play each game, and I spend my time according to that reason. I have different goals for each game. I'm at a different stage in each game as a player, and so I do different things, and I spend different amounts of time because the time commitment represents how invested I am in doing better in that game or growing as a player in that game. So I don't treat all 4 games equally, of course not. I spend my time very deliberately and in very different ways because there are specific goals I'm trying to get in each game. And once I hit a goal, then I might change my time allocation or how my time spent accordingly. So all of that helps get at what I think one of the fundamental causes of burnout is in fighting game players. And it's that if you only play one game, and if you're only laser focused on one objective, which is I'm getting better at this game, or I need to beat this person, or win this tournament, or whatever, you have to invest more time and more energy to see more results. But the more time and energy you invest, the bigger the payout you need to expect. I don't just mean a financial payout, I mean the emotional payout, right? If you want to get really good, you have to spend a lot of time. If you spend a lot of time, you need it to feel even better when you get good and you hit those goals, because you had to spend more effort, more energy, more whatever, in order to get there. And what ends up happening is that what I think most high-level fighting game players find is that when you've done that much work to hit that goal, you realize that it kind of wasn't worth it. Not that it's not cool to be the best or whatever, but the burnout comes from seeing that you have to spend exponentially more effort to get past every single level in a fighting game in terms of your evolution as a player, and that you could be doing all kinds of other things with that time. You think about all the things you could have been doing instead of grinding that play or labbing or whatever, and you think, oh man, maybe my life would have been better if I was a little bit worse at this fighting game, but I had more time to spend with my family or whatever it is. And that sucks. I've had that feeling happen in multiple games as well as multiple activities. I spent a lot of my time training martial arts, and when I focused on one martial art exclusively, and then things didn't go well for me at competition or whatever, that would be devastating. Now again, my goal is not to be the best. I would love to be the best. I think it would be super cool to win an Evo or whatever. I play with an eye towards improvement, but there's the amount of work and effort you have to put in to be better than literally every single person in the room, or literally every single person in the world, is more than I'm willing to spend on one thing, because frankly, I don't think it's worth it. So my goals are more like, hey, I want to play this game forever. And if you think about it that way, if you think that your goal is not, I want to hit this level of achievement, but just, I don't want to stop playing this game. I just want to continue to get better at it because I find that enjoyable. I believe that if I do this for long enough, I'll be able to beat any motherfucker in the room eventually. But that's not the goal. That might be just a nice outcome. And because it's not the goal, right, just consistent daily play and improvement is the goal. My goal is to do this for a long time. It's longevity and consistency. That changes how I spend my time. I'm okay playing an hour or two when I can, and maybe no time when I can't. And I know that there are people out there who play far more than I do, and they'll get better results in tournament. And then we'll see how they do when they have a kid or a mortgage or a really demanding job. And we'll see how much time they put in then. And I'll still be there grinding away with my hour or two. Over the long haul, I think I've just done better and better every year. I think that's pretty cool. That's how I structure my fighting game engagement, because I think about this in terms of decades. There are plenty of players out there who are stronger than me, who are faster than me, who have more time and more grinding than I do, better labbers, better reactions, better tech, but I am inevitable. And to be clear, this wasn't an attitude that I always had. As a player, I'd gone through many of the ups and downs that everyone has, including the stuff that you're talking about now. But I had a moment a couple years ago where I kind of looked at where my life was headed, and I looked at all the joy that I got from fighting games, as well as all the other things that I could be doing with my life. And there are, of course, many things that I could be doing besides fighting games. But I looked around at where I was, and I realized that no one out there has quite the same kinds or variety or depth of experience that I do with fighting games, because I've been doing so much for so long in so many different roles, that I kind of owe it to myself and I owe it to humanity to go as far as I can in the direction I'm going and just see what I learn, see where this takes me, see what kind of insights or depth of understanding or whatever it is I can find from spending my life hurtling in this one direction, right? Changing, of course, the direction as I get to know more and get further and further along, but going as far as I can and reporting back to everyone else I can through videos like this on what it's like so that y'all can learn from this as well. That, to me, is the reason I'm here, basically. And fighting games doesn't have to be that for you. If it is, great. Go out and chase your bliss, whatever that looks like. But if it's not, fuck it. Mash on some games when you want to and do something else. It's fine. We're all just here to play some games and have a good time. Also, because you mentioned the changing of the guard or having practice partners or rivals come and go, my goals aren't tied to beating a specific person. They're not tied to instructing specific people or raising a champion or anything like that. Everyone, we're all on this journey together, but we all have different start points and different end points. And so because of that, while I am absolutely motivated by the people who play these games with me, I do not treat any individual person as a specific motivation for getting better or doing more. All y'all motherfuckers out there can catch these hands. None of y'all are special. All of you will have to hold that shit because I am inevitable. So yeah, what I would suggest is breaks are great. You should take a break. You should see how you feel. And then when you come back, because you will come back, you've been at this too long to not eventually come back. But when you come back, ask yourself what you missed from not being a part of fighting games. Ask yourself what you want from your life in fighting games. And then maybe think about how you can deliberately structure your life in a way that includes fighting games in just the right way to hit the kinds of things you want from it. If you want everything, you'll have to give fighting games everything, but you probably don't want everything from fighting games. And if you do, let's swap some tech, because man, I got you. Also, watch Hajime no Ippo. It's really good, especially at working through feelings about competition and winning and losing and skill development and 1v1 stuff like this. It's really good. You've probably already seen it, but if you haven't seen it, watch Hajime no Ippo. There are some kind of whack things about like the way it handles gender is not particularly good, but it's as far as like sports anime go, oh my God, it's one of the best. Also Ping Pong the animation, very good. Watch those things. Engaging with media that you can relate back to your hobby helps give you a frame for understanding these experiences, right? It doesn't have to be about the feelings you feel. When you see Ippo or Miyata or whoever feel a certain way, that can help give you perspective on how you feel. So yeah, watch that stuff and take a break. Maybe take a break, go watch that stuff, and that will bring you back to it. But one way or another, you got to think about how you want this stuff to contribute to your life more broadly, and then make decisions on how you engage with it in order to give you what you want and not what you thought you wanted or what you actually didn't want. But yeah, it's a fantastic question. Thank you for trusting me to give this kind of life advice. I understand that I'm here to talk about fighting games, and fighting games are life, so it ends up being life advice. But like, this is the kind of like advice column shit I always wanted to do, so thank you.